feel it in your feet. This is Bum House. I know you feel that heat. This is Bum House. I know you feel that heat.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome to season 2.
Welcome back to
Season
the
2.
Bomb House.
Still with the bad sound effects.
Those are the best ones. They're organic.
Someone that has listened to the podcast asked me, like, you know, when are we gonna add sound effects?
Yeah.
And I honestly was like,
We do.
I don't know.
we do add sound effects.
Nothing but the best
Yeah.
quality here.
Yeah. There's no question it's coming straight from us.
But so how has life been since season 1 for you?
Awesome, man.
Has anybody said anything to you, like as far as feedback on the podcast or anything?
Yeah. I've actually had a lot of people. That's one of the most surprising things to me. Not that I thought that this was going to tank or anything.
Well, you never know.
You don't know, and it's not just, hey, cool that you're doing a podcast. You know, they're actually saying, I am super glad that you talked about this, or you had this person in to talk about that. I
had a very similar situation. I was actually at lunch at Mount Burrito.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. and somebody pulled me aside and really encouraged me, and said we really needed something like this, for our area. And even out to my Elevation church friends, a lot of my friends out there have been listening, and I'm getting very good feedback.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate it. I think today our Facebook hit 400 likes.
Yes, 400.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I do like goals, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my God, we have to be driven by goals. However, in my mind, I was really hoping we would hit 1,000 listens. Mm-hmm. And it's safe to say we hit 1,000 listens this past week as well between all of our platforms. Yeah. And for some self-promotion, we are, we're on SoundCloud, we're on iTunes, we're on, what's the Caster app you like to use?
Pocket Cast.
Yeah, we're on Pocket Cast, we're on Podbean, YouTube, and between all of our platforms, we've hit 1,000 listens, man.
Easily.
It's been very fun to watch that number grow every week. Yeah. And we do appreciate it.
And we're seeing each episode have lots more than the last one. So, so people, those of you that are talking about the podcast and letting people know what's going on, thanks. Word of mouth really helps.
And please continue more feedback to us. It really does matter. It really does matter to me. But I know also I think that it was really fun to have. We basically had really good friends on this past season.
Yeah.
But the one that stuck out to me the most so far was Mountain Burrito, Brian Drake.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That was very different.
Yeah, it was. For one, it was mostly about food.
Yeah, which was great.
But what we found out was the creative heart behind that was no different.
Yeah, than music and the stuff we're used to. And Brian, it was, he was joking with me recently because he was like, man, I've never really listened to myself.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's always weird that first time.
Yeah. But I know he really liked that episode, and it was funny. I saw some friends of mine from Hickory a few weeks ago again, and they were like, man, we listened to that episode, and we had to come grab a burrito.
Yeah.
I was like, heck yeah,
That's
man.
fantastic, man.
I thought that was good, but there was some definitely neat things, and but I can tell you, man, it has been hectic. Really since 2 weeks before Easter. Yeah. It has been nuts for me. How has it been for you?
Oh, absolutely crazy. We had just the slightest lull. My wife and I have our small businesses.
Yeah, I know you guys have been.
Lull
but
there.
you guys have been doing a lot of shows recently, right?
Picked up a few like larger trade shows, and we're trying to gradually get larger.
You're doing Ruddy Man products.
Yep.
And her products, right?
Yeah. She does word art.
Yeah. My wife has bought some of that stuff.
Yeah, there for a little while, just like any other business, it felt like it was ebbing too much.
Well, it's with seasons, I
yeah,
think.
Yeah, but then we got slammed, and now I'm preparing for Christmas already.
Yeah, you got to.
So
you got to. Yeah, same. Like, it's been really, my studio schedule, it stays nonstop. There's never really a down time for me. It's just about managing my time and time with my family and make sure I don't have a nervous breakdown. That's basically my goal. Because if I didn't, I would, if there were 9 days in a week, I would just work 9 days a week.
Sure.
Yeah. But I've gotten a lot better about managing my time over the last couple of years. I think in the past I would have struggled this time of year. I think when you're married to a teacher, like we are, there's a crunch time.
There is.
At the end of the school year, and we've been feeling that. I feel it with the kids.
Yeah.
I feel it when my kids are a little older, and they're getting ready for I've got one in Western Piedmont at the community college, and I got one getting ready to finish middle school, and they're already getting ready for testing.
Wow.
It's stressful.
It is.
There's an odd thing, and last week, oh man, we had a doozy week here at the Rods household.
Yeah.
If you keep up with me on Facebook, I posted a photo from Paramount Ford, I think is what it's called, in Valdez, North Carolina. Valdez.
Exit 113.
And that started a rough week.
Yeah.
I was, I told my wife Saturday, I was like, man, this week was a doozy. I didn't even realize it, but I get a call from my daughter, I think it was Monday evening late, that she was stranded. Her car broke down on the interstate. I was like, oh boy. Yeah. So we went and picked her. Picked her up, and she had a friend, and I had it towed to a friend of mine that's a mechanic downtown. The next morning I wake up and there's a flat tire on my car. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God. It's just, I was like, are you serious? And Gabe's like, I take my son to school. I was like, all right, I jumped in my wife's car, took him to school, came right back. My wife got her car, went to work, and I just took my car up to the gas station, got enough air to take it to the dealership. So I get to the dealership to get them to fix my tire and to get the oil changed, all that good stuff. Right when I'm telling the mechanic what's going on, with my tire, I get a call on my cell phone, and it's the mechanic from downtown, and he's like, so, hey, your daughter's car is dead. Completely dead.
Oh, no.
Engine shot, done. It had it was her first real car. It was a beater-upper,
Yeah.
And I was like, that one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt, because we've been really careful about not trying to take on a lot of debt, and we're not rich people, man. We're it's a struggle. It really is. I always tell my wife, I'm like, I feel like some years we get ahead of it sometimes, and then sometimes it just we can't, and it sort of weighs on. It bothers me sometimes. It really does bother me sometimes.
Right.
I do let it affect me. Because I think my problem is I think too far down the road.
Sure.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
And for my kids, I just want them to be so careful about debt, and I want them to have freedom to do what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think being as debt-free as possible is the key to that.
Yeah.
So long story short, while I'm at the dealership, I run into a sales guy there. I'm like, all right, man, here's our budget. Our budget was sub $12,000. It had to be a very, very affordable payment for us. And the dude's like, yeah, we don't have anything here in that price range. I'm like, what? There's we had no cars here in that price range. I was like, oh boy. So I go on to another dealership in Morganton, and they had a couple of cars in that price range. And, I'm just thinking safety, and I'm thinking price, and I'm thinking price, and I'm thinking price, and more price. And the sales guy...
What's cheap and won't kill my kid?
I don't want to say the name of the dealership that I went to, the second one I went to.
Yeah.
But this dude, man... I was there a year ago because I had to buy a vehicle for my wife because we had an accident in the family. And this guy was like, yeah... My wife told me I needed to bring home this car. This was last year. He was like, yeah, she told me she wanted this car. This is a good car. So I run into the same guy again. and he does not remember who I am. So he's looking at this Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't know, a 2013, 2014. And he goes, yeah, man. My wife said this is her favorite car.
Oh, he's got the same shtick every time. Oh, man.
She wants me to bring over this car, but I said I can't buy another car.
Oh,
and I think
man.
I've totaled this car 2 times. It's a safe car.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, I'm just not prepared for this. Like, my filter for that, I just didn't have any. And then a friend of mine recommended me the Ford place off of in Valdez. So I went there, and man, they had like 13 cars in the price range. They had a bunch of options. Andy was my sales guy, and it was so easy.
Yeah.
Like it was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we found something that worked. You know, and it was just, you know, it was a long day, man. Like it was a long day, and on top of that, like, you know, it was, you know, as a parent, you know, you want to make sure your kid's safe, you know, in a vehicle. It's pretty stressful. If you're not a parent yet, you will.
You do not want your kid on the side of a road.
No, it's sort of like the worst. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So we got that all worked out, and I was like, okay, we're made it. We made it through somewhat of this week, you know, and we took it on the chin a little bit. You know, we took on a little bit of debt, but we'll try to get rid of that as soon as possible and move on. But I know we don't have to worry about it anymore. You know, she's in they got us into a Ford Fusion, very well rated car, safety wise, and it's very nice. Like, sort of jealous, to be honest. I was like, in fact, Tori had wisdom teeth. Her wisdom teeth pulled out Friday, and I drove her car all weekend.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to drive your car.
This
She's
is
like,
a dream.
So she, you know, those videos of, you know, kids that are high from the drugs. We're not going to post any videos because I asked my wife
from the
not
dental
to.
drugs.
But dude, we have some funny video footage of her she is high as a kite, man.
Yeah, man.
She cries. She cried about Post Malone. She's like,
oh my gosh. I believe that's going to be one of this episode's quotes.
She cried about Post Malone.
She cried about it.
And she said she loved her doctor. They put her in the wheelchair, and she started going, wee, wee. You know, like,
I cannot see that. That's what's great about that
It
stuff.
was, you know, getting, and that's a whole process too, Bo. That is very expensive to get that done. And the cost is from the anesthetic.
Oh, yeah,
right?
sure.
Like they use, and I think they use the stuff that like basically killed, like what Michael Jackson got addicted to. I think it's called propanol. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I was like, in the back of my mind, I was nervous. Tyson took her. I had some studio stuff. You know, I had to take care of Gabe that day. I was in the studio. I called her. But it was, I mean, they were out of there quick. But, man, she sent me those videos, man. And it's just some funny videos. I think we watched them all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever your kids have wisdom teeth pulled out,
have your phone.
have your video.
ready.
Yeah, have it ready. And we had a lot of laughs at the expense of my kid on drugs.
So, I mean, there you go.
That's the way our weekend.
It helped your week out.
It did, and it was pretty funny. And then to cap off this week, and this is going to lead off into a long rant about a guitar. Oh, no. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So there's a guitar that was announced by Paul Reed Smith. It's a John Mayer model, John Mayer Strat for Paul Reed Smith. So for you guys that are not guitar players or you're married to a guitar player, musician, you may know some of this, but just to explain to you, obviously John Mayer is a very popular artist and he's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
Even though I did not love his first couple of records, when he started doing his John Mayer trio stuff, which is just him, a bass player and a drummer, and they're all A-list musicians, it was really refreshing to listen to somebody that seemingly came from the pop acoustic world and then go into the electric world.
I think he was hiding that stuff the whole time.
Dude, he totally was.
Yeah.
He totally was, and I don't listen to a lot of pop radio. Yeah. And the songs that I heard, I just thought he sounded like a poppy Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I first thought. Yeah, I was like, well, this is okay. It was okay. And then I saw the trio stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Cat's got chops.
Yeah, he does.
He can, he can write a ballad, but he can play the guitar. And he won me over so much. I went back and listened to the other records, and I've been a big fan since.
Yeah.
So anyway, he designed some guitars for Fender. Fender is a guitar company, okay, and they're considered the icon of the electric guitar.
Right.
The Stratocaster, the Telecaster is considered a staple of modern guitar. Every guitar you see was originated from some sort of a Fender guitar, pretty much at some point. There's different models that exist out there, but the Tele and the Fender Strat are just icons. It's really a neat thing to research. So, long story short, John Mayer had a few signature guitars for Fender. Fender used to have a bunch on their roster. It was an easy way for them to sell guitars.
Sure.
And John's guitars were fantastic. And it took my first Fender John Mayer took months for me to get. I think I waited over 7 months for that guitar.
Wow.
Yeah. It took forever. They said it was a miracle that I got my guitar.
Yeah.
So my Fender John Mayer picked it up, instantly connected with that guitar. That guitar it is my go-to guitar. It's pretty much a guitar I play every week. So I spent a lot of hours on the guitar, and for very many reasons, I think that guitar is just, for me, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward to end of last year, and then beginning of this year, Paul Reed Smith, John Mayer left Fender a while back. That was a big who-to-do. That was a big controversy.
Yeah, it was.
And he started playing Paul Reed Smith guitars, and then he designed a Strat for Paul Reed Smith. It took them 2 years to build that guitar.
Which, I mean, if I can interject here.
Yep.
Paul Reed Smith's, from maybe not the gearhead's point of view, but from most, even musicians that know about guitars at all, they didn't really have that kind of
in fact
feel.
Like in the guitar community, their reputation's more hard rock.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember the first time I saw a PRS,
it was
with
with
Nickelback.
Yeah, there you go.
With Nickelback.
And that's sort of the connotation
that
sticks with them. But what people don't realize is that it's basically a mid-size to small company, and they're American-made guitars, and they're very well-made
they are.
pieces of guitars. In fact, I have a Paul Reed Smith Starla, which is their version. It's like a Les Paul and a Gretsch hybrid.
Yeah. I worked with that one on our last Secondhand City record.
Paul Reed Smith, they make some fantastic gear. So when I heard they were teaming up with John Mayer for the Strat, I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, yes. And because of John Mayer leaving Fender, the value of the Fender John Mayer guitars have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Like if you go on eBay right now, like I'm going to go on eBay and just type in John Mayer Fender Strat.
This is happening live.
So just to find out what the price is, but it is crazy. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. So I think my guitar was like $1,500 when I ordered it. So cheapest one I'm looking at here is $2,200.
Wow.
Here's one for $6,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why? Why 6,000?
Because they just stopped making them.
Because it's so limited.
Yeah. So the cheapest one on eBay right now is like $2,000, and that's just going to start there.
Yeah.
Because they're going to sell for more, and the guitar was less than that. Like it was like $1,500, I think, or $1,599.
Guitars are one of the only things that appreciate over time.
So So, ladies, when your husband says these guitars do appreciate, they do.
They actually do.
Yeah, there's, even Taylor guitars, because of the value of the woods, it's very hard for these guitar companies to find the right woods. The government has made it very hard for them to get, like, rosewood, as an example, for the necks.
Yeah.
So guitar companies have had to get very creative with the woods that they use, and they've developed, like, these composite woods. Anyway, the values of these guitars hold or double sometimes. So that's what's happened with the Fender John Mayer. So when Paul Reed Smith announced it, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are excited about it. I got excited about it. I mean, I pre-ordered immediately. Yeah. I haven't ordered a guitar in a long time.
Right.
And it's, for me, it's been a long time since I've really, my resources, I prefer to put it into the studio than to the guitars. I have enough guitars. But this one, I was like, oh no, I want this guitar.
You heard it here first, folks. Ricky Rod said, I have enough guitars.
I do. I really do. And I could probably get rid of a few.
It can be done, man. A guitarist can get there.
The ones I have, I love. Yeah. I really do love my guitars. So anyway, I saw this Paul Reed Smith John Mayer, and then everybody on YouTube went crazy.
Sure.
Like, they hate it. I saw funny memes with people like putting duct tape on there's a funny meme of just a Fender duct tape on top of a Paul Reed Smith headstock or whatever, because they're just saying he just copied his Fender John Mayer for a Paul Reed Smith. That's what they're sort of alluding to in all these really, these memes, and I'm am I skeptical? Maybe, because there's patents, they can't copy it.
Sure.
But I'm like, I trust John. Like, I really do. I think, he's not trying to build a guitar that's going to be $6,000. He wants everybody to buy his guitars.
Right. Yeah.
And it took him 2 years. They spent 2 years. So I was jacked. Yeah. I have been waiting for this guitar forever. And then it shipped. It shipped Thursday, and then I got a notification it was in Hickory Saturday. So I went and picked it up Saturday.
Yeah.
So I was really excited. And, dude, the action on that guitar is like doo-doo butts. I was so mad. I was so mad. Like disappointed.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Did not connect with the guitar at all.
Wow.
Like I really got upset because I'm like, man.
Well, sure.
But it was, and it's really weird. Like, when you connect with an instrument, for me, I mean, there's got to be a vibe to it. I know it sounds like hocus pocus, right? But I have friends of mine that love cars. They get really, they get into a lot of different things, But a guitar is something, man, like...
it's Harry Potter's wand.
It is, man. And there's just... and the beauty of these instruments is they don't have to be $7,000. They don't have to be a $4,700 Elliott guitar for you to connect with it. Nope. It could be a $500 guitar. It could be a whatever price. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about being a musician is looking at musicians that use gear that's outside of the norm and it works for them. Yeah. Like Jack White, for example. Man, that guy plays crazy riffs and crazy gear. And he sounds great,
Yeah.
And if I played through it, I don't think it would sound that great,
Sure.
But that's the beauty of doing what we do.
Yeah.
So I get this guitar, and it's beautiful, man. Like, it really, I'm gonna make a YouTube video because it's already been done to death on YouTube. Everybody's like taking sound samples of the Fender and compared it to the Paul Reed Smith. I mean, there's some amazing videos.
Yeah.
However, I want to do a totally different kind of review where it's from I have spent hours upon hours about, on playing my Fender John Mayer.
Yeah.
I get this Paul Reed Smith, and let me tell you, my initial reaction was negative. Very, very negative.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about it. Because I played it yesterday at church. So I played it, I don't know, a couple of hours. And I think around the second experience worship service, we use the word experience, like we always jam at the end, right? Like our band, it's been a while. Our guitar player was out of town for a little bit, and it's been the first time that our team has been together.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It felt great. But we jam. We go off a little bit, and I felt like once I got going yesterday with that guitar, even though the action made me want to throw up, like I started finding some tones, right?
Right.
Like I started finding some spots and some things, and there was some really specific things that I got jamming with it. I was like, okay, I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I called my guitar tech, Abraham, who's amazing.
Awesome.
I think we're going to have him on the podcast, but
we should.
I called him, and he had to talk me off the ledge. Like I was almost done with the guitar, but I don't want to get into it to get too nerdy, but I really do feel passionate about the gear that I play. Like my stuff is not collectors. My stuff I play.
Yeah.
Like we use it. We use it all the time. So I'm like, and I'm not above returning it. Like I'm like, forget it. This is hot trash. John Mayer, what were you thinking? I could have just lit it up and be done with it, but I sat back. I yesterday, usually when I get home from church, it's a long day. I took a nap. I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab the guitar from the studio. And we've been watching some Netflix shows.
Sure.
We love, just chilling out Sunday nights. And I had the guitar with me, and I just played the guitar for like 4 hours yesterday. Chilling. Just chilling. Stayed up late, watching TV, goofing off, had the guitar with me.
Yeah.
And I really connected. I got to know the guitar a little bit. And, I was like, okay, I'm not a guitar tech, but I adjusted some things on it because I wanted to see what it was going to do.
Yeah.
Basically, for me, I cannot handle the guitar to feel tight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It felt tighter than in an acoustic guitar.
Ooh.
Yes. That's what the guitar played
and
like.
Electric guitars are typically looser than acoustics
Absolutely.
anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was about 50% too tight.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was something wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm not good enough to fix it. But I knew, okay, I'm going to lower the action. It was something very simple. Just basically I lowered the strings a little bit, and it felt better. Like I was like, okay, cool. And then I came in, I went back into the studio today, and I pulled out every guitar amp I own. I mean, that whole room, I have a whole studio room.
There's a wall and a half.
There's a wall of guitar, a wall and a half of guitar amps. And I pulled them all into here with my pedal board. I said, okay, we're going to figure out what's going to work for this guitar.
Yeah.
Because I think I just got in a tone rut. And what I mean, like, I know what pedals work with my guitars. I know what works for church. I know what works for the rock songs or country songs or everything. And I have to break everything down to like, okay, let's figure out what's going to work for this guitar. Like, what was John Mayer thinking when he built this guitar?
Yeah.
Because, he can't control the action. He can't control, like, guitars are made of wood.
Yeah.
So when you ship wood, it expands, right? Temperature changes the wood.
Yeah.
So,
altitude.
Yeah, and anything could have changed that guitar. So I didn't want to judge it because of that. Sure. I wanted to be like, okay, we're going to let Abraham, my guitar tech, do his thing, which is what we did today. It's like dropping your kid off at the doctor, like, I pray this kid's going to be okay. That's the way I think about this Paul Reed Smith guitar.
Lord, in your infinite wisdom and knowledge, and
please, Lord,
you're the
please
great
work
physician.
through Abraham.
You're the great
and his
guitar
hands.
physician.
Please, Lord, have him fix this guitar. But essentially, and I will make a video about this, but essentially that guitar is basically the next generation of a Strat.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I think the hardware, he modernized it. He used some really good things. It's an affordable guitar in the scheme of things.
Sure.
It really is when you think about it. When you see the price tag, you will totally disagree. But in this world, that's an affordable price.
Yeah.
And in the guitar, I spent a couple hours with it yesterday. And then this morning, I go through all the amps, and I found the sweet spots.
Yeah.
I did. I have a hand-wired Vox, which is a really cool amp that's got, like, old-school tones, and I found some sick tones today. Like, we're talking, like, I got chill bumps from these tones.
Yeah.
Very switchfoot kind of tones, which is like a very their tones are just overdriven, but you can still hear the guitar.
If there's anybody out there listening to this podcast because they know me, then they're just like, yes, let us hear the guitar.
If you haven't listened to Switchfoot,
oh man,
let me urge you, go listen to Switchfoot.
Yeah.
They're an amazing band, but the reason I like that band is they've never hidden their guitars.
Never.
And they're just one of my favorite rock bands. But on top of that, I found like some really good blues tones, like the old school John Mayer tones, like slow dancing in a burning room.
Oh,
okay,
man.
that's one of the sickest guitar riffs ever.
One of his best songs ever.
It is. And that's a story I cannot talk about because this is a PG podcast. So I'm kicking that story out of my mind right now. Okay, but that song, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, right, it's a sick guitar riff, right? So I went into that riff on that guitar. I was like, yo, this is it. Like if we can tweak that guitar and get it where I'm happy with the action, it's a keeper, right?
Yeah.
It is a keeper, but there's some things about it that he changed. And when I think about it, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like he could have just made a copy of his Fender guitar. Yeah. He could have just said, just make this.
But when did he have that Fender John Mayer?
I think the first one was like 2013, 14. Maybe?
Okay, so this is where I'm going with this. Most people have a hard time once you like somebody for their music or you like them for their art or whatever it is, we tend to put them into our favorite version of them. And if we know anything about not just John Mayer, anybody, over 4 years, 5 years time, they're going to shift anyway. They're going to change.
There's change. I mean,
and his musicality has changed.
I've gone through that.
Yeah,
I think
so. This guitar's got to be a different monster.
Yeah, and a part of that was, hey, I've been playing that Fender John Mayer for so long, I got really attached to it, and it's still one of my favorite guitars, and I'll still play it absolutely. But what it did was, this guitar is very different. I mean, it's lighter. When you take wood out of an instrument, it changes the tone.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah.
Like we're talking drastic changes. So it's very comfortable to play. I mean, man, it's light. I had it on me all morning yesterday, and it felt great. It's a very balanced, good feeling guitar.
So lighter than a Fender Strat?
Significantly.
Which means much lighter
than
a Gibson Les Paul.
Yes, it is a very light, playable electric guitar.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like about it, it's very retro. Like the headstock, they reversed the headstock.
Oh, okay.
The top of the guitar. So it's got a retro feel, right? And the neck, that's another very controversial thing. Like the radius of the neck, which we're not going to get into. The neck feels fantastic. Like it is a good feeling guitar, but it feels modern, right?
Yeah.
When I play Elliott guitars, they feel classic, right?
Yeah.
They feel very timeless. This is not that.
And we got to get into Elliott one day.
One day.
That's another local.
I don't know if I could ever get Andy here.
No, he's too busy working on guitars.
Maybe one day. I'd love. I think I maybe could convince him to come.
Just talking about Western North Carolina, and it's born some of the
for y'all that don't know,
beautiful guitars.
If you Google Elliott guitars, we have a guitar maker in this area that is just making some fantastic instruments.
He's based out of the boondocks.
If you watch anything, if you watch anything, I know the guitar player from Switchfoot plays them. There's some Sheryl Crow's guitar player plays them. Elevation Worship, they're all over our team. Fantastic guitars, but those guitars look like hot rod guitar,
Yeah.
like hot rod cars.
Yeah.
And they're very classic and they're very timeless. And the Paul Reed Smith Mayer is just not. It's a modern guitar.
It's today.
Yeah, it is today. And there's some things that I'm going to really dive into regarding it, but overall, like, I couldn't get past like how bad it felt to play. I was so mad. I was like, son of a gun. So here, I talked to Abraham. I called all my friends. And I even posted some videos. I posted some videos this morning. On my Instagram. I was like, all right, let's tear through some tones. And I started finding some things, and it's a journey. Yeah, Jimmy. It really is a journey, and I had to decide. Okay, do I want to just stick with what I got? Or do I want to try to change things up?
Yeah.
And I'm going to change things up.
Sure.
I ordered some new overdrive pedals this week. I'm going to, I'm looking at some Fender Deluxe amps and some different things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing for me.
Yeah.
But it's a good flavor.
Yeah. And what I love about what you just said is that for all the guitarists out there, you're getting them jacked because they're like, new guitar means new pedals and new amp. And for all the guitarists' wives or guitarist husbands, they're going, oh no, a guitar means way more than just a guitar.
It does, but man, I just, my initial reaction was just so negative.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument, but I didn't want to I'm not going to force myself to keep something I'm not going to play.
Sure.
But I sat down with Abraham today for I think I went to his new spot downtown. It's beautiful, by the way.
It is.
I think it's I don't know how long he's been there, but I was there for about an hour and a half. And the joke is he's my closest Hispanic friend. He's Honduran.
Yeah.
And he really is. We are just we're really close friends, but we sat down, we plugged it into a Fender Deluxe amp. And we just played guitar for like an hour. Yeah. Talked about Strats and talked about he's insane about those guitars.
Oh, sure.
He is me times 10 because he knows every nook and cranny of every year and how those things work.
Yep.
And I showed him the issue, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, I can fix this."
Yeah.
And God, it made me feel so much better. Like I left going, thank God for him. Like literally, I would have been stuck.
Yeah.
He was a godsend, but I get that crazy. I literally went crazy over that guitar.
Yeah,
because I was so mad. And I didn't even want to take it Sunday morning. But I was like, no, I'm going to take it. I'm going to figure this out.
Put it through its paces, man.
Yeah, I'm going to figure this out. And so, the journey's still, I'm 100% sure he can fix it, get it going. It was just a shock to my system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a shock to my system, and I was like, okay, we're going to get through this. So
well,
whenever you see me talking about a YouTube video for this guitar, I'm going to go into depth.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, anybody who's listening who's actually interested in listening to the guitar itself.
There is definitely a sonic character that it's really unique, man. It's good, and I'm really excited about explaining to people why it's so unique, because you can go on YouTube and listen to samples all day. It's not really about that. Right. It's more about, okay, why was this thing created? So but it's just a change up. Just changing things up, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you have to change things up from time to time.
But so let's move this conversation back to the future.
The future.
Isn't that a rap star?
Future.
Isn't he called Future?
I don't know.
I think so.
I'm not one of the cool kids. So.
Listen, every time I tell my kids that a certain rapper is on the no list, they're listening to that artist, and then I'm like, son of a gun. Post Malone made that list.
Post Malone.
Now my daughter's crying about him. Yeah. Little Uzi or whatever the crap that kid's name is. I don't know. I can't. Little Xan. Little, I don't know. I just saw Ninja,
we
Fortnite player.
We get it with the Lils. The Lils.
It's all the SoundCloud dudes.
Yeah.
Every one of them Lil something. So I don't know. We may have I think we're going to have a hip hop guest on this season.
Yeah.
I think we've got that worked out. BJ, Billy James, who did Billy James, who did the intro, did the theme music. He's going to be on, and he knows a lot more about that game than I do.
Oh yeah,
but I think we're gonna make some changes this season, right, Jimmy? We're gonna try some new things.
We're gonna have significantly more episodes.
Yep, I think our goal is going to be 10.
Yeah,
right. So we're going from 6 to 10.
So we're pulling a Game of Thrones here.
Oh, yes.
Because,
I showed that text to my wife.
They started with 6, and then they went to 10.
Jimmy compares everything to Game of Thrones, apparently. By the way, when's the final season of Game of Thrones? Is that this year?
It's next year, man. And I would be sad.
Okay.
I am sad.
All right.
But I'm trying to fill my...
Did you read those books?
No, I didn't. I'm one of the losers that doesn't.
You just watched the show.
I just watched the show.
The last 2 seasons, I think, have been basically just fan fiction.
Well,
it's not,
They're actually based on...
They passed the books.
Transcripts.
Yeah, they passed the books.
So...
And thank God they passed the books, because the last one I read...
Yeah.
That's me throwing up. Dude, I've read all those books, and he can be tough. He gets long-winded sometimes.
Yeah.
But the shows, woo!
Yeah. Man, that's a that might be an episode, but I don't know how we do it without spoiling everything.
Well, we can't. I don't want to spoil anything. But anyway, just so y'all know, everything in Jimmy's mind compares to Game of Thrones.
Maybe sometimes
we're doing 10 episodes. 10 episodes.
We're just like Game of Thrones
because of Game of Thrones. So just remember that, y'all.
Yeah. Actually, we just have we had so many more people that we wanted to pull into this thing. And maybe branch out beyond just ministry, music, and food.
We're definitely going to branch out this season. We're going to do. I may surprise you with this, Jimmy, but I think we're probably going to have my wife on one episode.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think she has a great story. That I want people to hear about. And there's a few other things that me and my wife have kicked around talking about. Different things, but I think she's going to be on an episode. We've got a local pastor, Kevin Purcell, I met him randomly talking about tech stuff. He used to write for a technology blog, but he happens to pastor, I think it's High Peak Baptist, right, in Drexel. So he'll be on this season. Yes, great guy, and I've gotten to know his family over the years, and that episode is going to be good because, number one, it's different. He pastors a different style church. Right? It's a more traditional Baptist church, which I'm cool. I think it's great. They're meeting a need in their community. And on top of that, he is the most knowledgeable technology person that I know.
That's a fun dichotomy there.
Every time I see him, I think he has 2 phones at all times. It's crazy. He's got an Android and he's got an iPhone, and then he's got all sorts of stuff. So that episode would be cool because we've got somebody from the Drexel community, which is close to our area. We could talk about him, and we'll probably have a really cool technology discussion.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be some fun stuff on that episode. And then, I don't know, have you guys ever heard of a band called Hootie and the Blowfish?
Hootie the Blowfish.
Hootie
and the Blowfish? And the Blowfish?
I don't know. Every time I think of that band, the only thing I can think of, I don't know where you.
Every
and Dan Marino, baby.
And Dan Marino.
When I saw Dan Marino in that video,
these guys have made it.
I was like, oh my God.
This is my favorite band.
Perfect band. So,
yeah, man.
anyway, one of the members of their management team, because when you're that big, you don't have just one guy. You got they've got like an army of people. But,
sure.
He happens to live in Charlotte, and Chip has become a good friend of mine over the years, and he's got excellent knowledge in the music industry.
Yeah.
And what makes him unique, he's been on both sides. He's been on the Christian side and the mainstream side.
Yeah, like he's the manager for the advice, right? Or was the manager for the advice?
He's
a close friend.
He's going to provide good insight, and on top of that, if you're an indie artist, right? He's doing some really cool stuff on Facebook now, and
yeah, I've seen his ads.
He's doing some good things, and I think from that perspective, this could be really fun to have somebody that can give some advice, for that. See what I did there?
Yeah.
we need to talk about. We need to get those Houston boys on here.
I think so.
Maybe because that band, that was a band.
Talk about
they could play.
Jeez,
best musicians, man.
And for some reason, they were kind enough to open for us once.
They were great.
Or twice.
And they were nice dudes.
It was really backwards now that I look
They're great.
at it.
They're great, but
They're awesome
maybe we
people.
can get them on. But Matt, Houston, if you ever listen to this,
we love you.
We love you. Come have a taco and burrito with us.
Let's do it.
But so he'll be on for an episode, and then we've got some community leaders that are going to be on. I don't want to commit to yet, but they've all agreed to be on.
Yep.
So we're going to change it up this season for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to be as diverse as we can. We're going to have some female musician artists on here. We're going to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And we want everybody's feedback.
Yeah.
Yep. We want that.
This has really opened up my eyes. Just using a platform like this has given me the chance to talk to people that I normally would not run into. And so, especially as somebody who works in a church, it's hard to, I say that, this sounds weird. It's hard to meet people when you're not at church on a church day. You know what I mean? You see your masses then.
Or you only see people when you're at Walmart.
Or at Walmart.
And your kid's like climbing up the third shelf or throwing.
In my community, it's at Ingles. So,
you all got that Ingles there.
We got a grocery store that's basically the one stop for everything.
I love our Ingles.
But this just...
Has your Ingles gotten the Starbucks yet?
No. Man. But there's a plan. There's a plan in place. We have gotten alcohol. So
what? Okay. Because see, in Morganton, our Starbucks is in an Ingles. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. So I try to split my time between our local coffee shop, The Grind downtown, and then, Starbucks.
Want to hang out with the nice people that work there.
Exactly. Well, they all know my order.
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then I had one a few, I think last week. No, maybe a couple of weeks ago. But one of the guys that works there, he was like, I always order a specific latte.
Yeah.
Now, when I say this, please don't yell at me, Jimmy or crowd. But I like Splenda. Right? I gotta watch my hips, man. Splenda, artificial sugar. You're gonna die, Ricky. Well, listen, I don't smoke. Rarely, if ever, drink. I don't even remember the last time I had a beer.
Yeah. I'm
relatively pretty good about what I eat. But Splenda is my vice.
Yeah.
But I've tried to switch to the half monk fruit, half stevia stuff because it doesn't taste bad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. I like split it. My coffee, my latte looks like a science experiment when I make my coffee.
Listen, man. Listen. There's a Starbucks in Hickory.
Okay.
That every time I go out that way with my wife, we have to drive through there because Shasta has to have.
Is this the one off the interstate?
Yeah. She has to have her drink, right?
I've heard some nightmare stories about that place.
And I say this lovingly, and I would say this to her face, so it's not me talking about her behind her back, but her laundry list of a coffee.
She's picky.
Man, she's so picky. And she's got there's about 6 different steps to making this thing. And it even involves steaming some of the sweetener and then adding sweetener.
There's a difference, Jimmy.
There is a difference.
There is a difference.
I've found this out.
And you know what? And there's also another pet peeve. Young people, listen if you're making our coffees. Don't spit in mine, please. I love y'all. I always try to tip.
Yeah.
But they don't make it hot enough.
Yeah. Well, that's because McDonald's got fried a while back from that woman getting third-degree burns from hers.
I mean, it kills me when I get my latte. This is a first world issue, and it's just not hot enough. I'm like, you got to make this. I make them nuke it for like 30 extra seconds. So I love that.
The last step is put it in the microwave.
It's like a 6-step drink for your wife.
Yeah, and she gets to step number 2 and then takes the breath to talk about step number 3, and they're like, oh, is this Shasta?
So they know.
So they know exactly who great. She is through the drive-thru, man.
That's good.
And it doesn't matter who's working. So.
I've heard some funny stories about that particular Starbucks over the years. But, my coffee does look like a science experiment.
Yeah,
and it's because I'm trying to wean myself off of Splenda.
Sure.
But I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Coffee's great, man.
I love it. But I have been weaning myself off of that. But the dude at our local Starbucks tried my drink that I had to make.
Yeah.
And he goes, Ricky, that was disgusting. I was like, dude, it's the way I like my drink.
Yeah.
He's like, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, dude.
What happened to you?
It's my drink. It's my science experiment.
Yeah, man.
But how did we get here? Wait, we were talking about Ingalls.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, we were talking about the future of podcasts.
Yeah.
Our podcast. So we'll drive the conversation to that we are going to switch things up, and I think we're going to introduce a new element this season, right?
Yeah.
Which brings me to Rooted.
Rooted.
How is Rooted? Rooted is your band.
Rooted is the band that I am in currently. It's an acoustic outfit that does just like we do anything from covers to originals to instrumentals, and it's all rootsy music,
And you will be with us for an episode.
Yeah, and we're gonna
do some live music. We're gonna try that for the first time.
Yeah,
we're gonna try live music on y'all. So please be patient,
and you will find out quickly that this is the rule that you hear as a musician. If any of you are out there trying to make a band, the best rule is to surround yourself with people who are better than you.
Oh yeah.
And I can say that this group, they can play circles around me, man. Like they can stomp me. And they're a bunch of younger guys. I'm the old guy in the group, but they're a bunch of younger guys and girls who have been playing this kind of roots music forever, and they're just phenomenal musicians.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about having them on.
It's going to be fun.
So that'll be our first sort of like band interview.
Yeah.
And we're gonna mix in, a live song or two.
Yeah,
and
it'll be a lot of fun.
We're gonna change it up, and we'll see how the episode goes.
Yeah, try to do our own little tiny desk.
Yeah. We will. Well, we're gonna try a few different things, but we are thankful for everyone. We are thankful for all the listens and all the social media attention you've paid us, and we haven't forgotten about the swear jar.
No,
right?
We haven't. Nope.
We haven't forgotten about the swear jar. There will be a specific episode where we will address that. I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
So I think we found a nonprofit that's local, that's doing some great things.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing. We're going to bring in some people that are doing some good things nonprofit wise. So, but Jimmy, where can we find you?
I'm at jimmyatkinsmusic.com.
Woot woot.
Jimmy Atkins Music pretty much everywhere, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're also looking for some beard grooming products, I think I make some pretty good ones.
Oh, yeah.
RuddyManBeard.com.
Yep, check them out.
Check it out.
Find us at bombhousepodcast.com.
Yep.
We have a lot of platforms that we're available on. All the links are there. We're waiting on Spotify. I think we'll have a Spotify link. It's been the last holdout. They just started carrying podcasts, so it's taking forever.
Yeah.
We got approved, but it's taken forever for them to get that rolling. But as far as check our social media for updates, we've got some fun stuff planned.
Yeah.
We got some fun stuff planned for this particular season. We do love you all. If you have any questions, feedback, hit us up.
And if you have a favorite quote or something that hits you just right between the eyes from any episode at all, please either comment that, email us. We'd love to share that with the rest of the listeners.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you so much. Peace out.
Take care.
Let me head back again.